All right, welcome back to another episode of Open Ranks. I am your host, Henry Park, and my brother Coop actually couldn't make it. He on the flight back home. He was in a training in Dallas, Texas, so he's flying back to DC. He's going to catch up with his lady and his friends and his family. So we gave him the night off and said I could roll with this one. That's a big part of our commitment between this season and our previous seasons is kind of just making it a point to record, shoot, regardless of everybody's perfect availability. I think at the age that we all are and the amount of things that we have in front of each other, it's not going to always be a time where we can always get together. What we don't want to do is cause any lapses in like where it is that we think this can go. So we're here tonight, and I'm excited to be here. I want to say that Gibbs is a guest, but I'd be lying. I think at this point, Gibbs is kind of just a friend of the show, and he's here now, and I can't imagine that he won't be back at another point just throughout this whole process. So I introduce Gibbs as a friend to me, a friend to y'all, because that's pretty much what this is, and it's good to see you, man. How you doing?
Good man, I'm excited to be here. I couldn't hesitate or wait to be here today. I was excited when you sent that text message. I was like, yeah, let's do this. I had a good time the first time. It's gonna be a good time this time as well.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, not new to the platform, but still give it a chance. Go ahead and go. No different than we do for everybody. We're gonna name hometown and why you originally joined the military, and then we'll get into everything else after.
So Michael Gibbs Ford from Charleston, South Carolina. Uh, Smaller town called Moncks Corner. I'm just gonna say Charleston because that's the city is familiar with. I originally joined the military to get out of that town. Found myself in a situation backed in the corner, dropped out of college, and my older brother, was like, "You should join the Air Force. You don't have anything going for you. You don't want to be here. You want to see the world, travel, and make money." So I was like, "Let me build this foundation for myself."
Where was your brother in the service as well?
Yeah, he was in the Marines, so he was like, "Don't go Marines, don't go Navy, don't go Army, go Air Force. Those where the females are. That's what a better life is." And he
That's
was
where the quality of
infantry.
life is.
Yep.
Word. He was infantry. He still in, or he was that too much for? I know infantry takes a toll on you.
Yeah, he did 7 years, got out, went back to New York. So that's where
Word.
we're originally from. So I was born in New York, but we moved to South Carolina in '99, early 2000s. So when I was about 5. So my brother say I can't claim New York. I'm a South Carolinian.
I ain't mad at it. Even looking at your logo in the back, you got the Charleston River Dogs back there, uh,
Representing.
showing them a lot of love. Those were always some good games to go to. I think just because Charleston don't have too many other options, so I think the buy-in and support for the River Dogs is outstanding.
If you ever see me, I'm always gonna have a Holy City hat on.
Yeah, I still got one in my closet. I don't really wear hats in general, but I try to get some, kind of show where I've been, this, that, and the third. But that's what's up. We was just in New York. We was trying to. We invited you way too late to get up there. You won't miss the next one. I'll tell you right now. We talking about going to Houston for the Javante fight whenever they announce the dates and the tickets. That's in June though. So uh, same group of guys. My girl a Javante fan, so she'll probably tag along too. But should be a good time. Put that out there now, so there ain't no last minute shit. And then so when you were enlisted, what AFSC did you hold? Because a lot of things have changed. So like give people some context. But when you were enlisted, still in the Air Force, but enlisted in a different capacity now, what AFSC did you hold then, and how did you feel about it?
Uh, so I was aircrew flight equipment. We worked on survival equipment in case the aircraft goes down. We was 24/7 operations. We also did customer service uh, for the pilots. They came in, get their helmet and NVGs. They pre-filed them there and headed out on the road. And we also, it was customer service to stuff that was pre-positioned on the C-17, like life rafts. So it sucked, as in the workload, because again, 24/7 operations, you'll be on a shift, there'll be one other person, you got a bunch of equipment that goes on a jet. You also got people coming to calling the door, calling like, hey, I need to pick up my stuff. Where you at? Whatever the case may be. But uh, looking at it in retrospect, kind of made me the person I am now because that showed me the tempo of operations. It helped me show me what you need to be as a airman, as in whole concept, doing school, doing volunteer. Just kind of gave me that work ethic to strive for bigger things.
Yeah, for sure. C-17, the Globemaster 3, the plane that was at Charleston being where we all met. Also, your hometown. As you were going through the process of growing and getting better and being able to better manage career, whole airman, and all that stuff, how was it doing that in your hometown? I mean, we talk about it. I think we watch NBA players and football players do everything they can to get back and have an opportunity to kind of play at home. In the military, that's extremely hard to come by. One, just because where you get to go isn't always up to you, and two, because I mean the bases are in such random places. Like probably if you're from Vegas, or I mean, I feel like the odds of landing where your hometown is highly contingent on where you're from, based on where bases are placed. So,
It's
what
hard.
was that like?
It was a little challenging at first because I also have to juggle two different friend groups. We also got two different
Mm,
things going on as a young airman. You kind of
yeah,
like you kind of scared to do stuff when it's really not that serious. But I also found that I hung out with my military friends way more than my friends from back home. Nothing against
yeah,
them, but it's different when you wear the uniform because now we all been through the same things. We might come from different backgrounds and stuff, but we easily relate. And that companionship and that morale is strong because like I met y'all just playing basketball, being at the DFAC, and then we
yeah,
work in different areas, but we also need each other's help. So it kind of like
yeah,
you grow fast and you develop bonds strong with military people that you already can relate to, whether from something outside of just a military setting. So it's like basketball all brought all us together because we was all competitive playing outside
yeah, yeah,
after we eat at the DFAC ain't shit else to do, or we play football and it's like we talking
yeah,
shit to each other, and then next thing you know, we doing cookouts and stuff like that, and just like shit, I really can relate to these people. I know they got my back at the end of the day. When some of your
yeah.
high school friends you try to hang out with them and you want better for them, but they not really on that. They really stuck on shit that we was doing.
Yeah, and it's hard. I think the gap between you grow up so fast. Like literally, to me, as soon as you put your foot down in basic training, you already like
They
the
thrown
gap
into the
between
fire.
man, what like who you were and who you have to become, and then the decision of however much of that you choose to hold on to. The longer you're in it, because we was talking about on the last episode with Laisha, like that whole process is meant to kind of break you down and reshape you and mold you to a certain extent, and part of that's necessary as it relates to just the way the military is set up and the hierarchy and the way you have to learn to respond to people and things differently than how you've been grown and conditioned to respond to things. And so that breaking down process is necessary. And so right at that moment, the gap between you and the people that you used to know is present, and it only grows wider, I think. And then the opportunity to accomplish, I think, one based on individual pursuit and work ethic and
Mhm,
desire and drive, and then the fact that the military, to a certain extent, is kind of like it's like a treadmill. To me, the military career is like a when you get on the treadmill and turn that on, it's already on,
mhm,
and at the pace that it goes, I think it's the setting. It starts up at like 2. So if you don't do nothing else, you could stay at a pace of 2 to 3 to 4 on that treadmill walking, and you're gonna go somewhere. And for
mhm.
for people that are outside, there is no treadmill. There's nothing. There's no conveyor belt to be on to move you from one thing to the next. And then contingent upon your personality, you can take that same treadmill for people like you, or I feel like myself, and pretty much everybody we hung out with. You can go from 2 to 10 and run at the pace you want to.
Mhm.
But either way, you got a destination or movement. Whereas back home, everybody don't have that. So the conversations change as far as like what people are trying to do and how
And
easy
then
that may or may not be.
another thing too is somebody said it the other day, like I would say like a first lieutenant or whatever the case may be is like sometimes your family stop checking on you because they know you're not available because the military has a precedent to where
Yeah.
you can't just pick up and go whenever you want to. So just like after a while,
Yeah.
the it, the distance between y'all start to grow, not because you don't want to be around or it's just the military. You raise your right arm and you did that. You took that oath and that you made that decision. So
Yeah. 'Cause I guess your inability to show up sometimes based on what the mission calls for and things of that nature will probably just lead to people being like, okay, probably it lead to people probably just assuming like, you know what, he's not going to be able to make it. So you
yeah,
kind of fall out the routine of them wanting to even invite you to different things.
yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Um, so yeah, last time you were here, I was in still, but on the fence. I think it was your episode where I was like, you know what, I don't know which way this shit gonna go.
Yeah.
And you were still in ROTC at
Fighting for
Charleston
my life.
Southern, fighting for your life, right? And we both happen to be, I guess, alumni from there. I don't do too much with it. I don't participate in any of the emails they
Hmm.
send, but
Yeah.
something we got in common, waiting for your chance to become an officer in the Air Force. But in the time that's now passed, you've managed to accomplish that goal. And it wasn't an easy one by any stretch of the imagination. Talk about what it was like to finally be able to walk across that stage and celebrate and add um, officer as a title that goes along with the things that you've been able to accomplish.
I would say it didn't feel real at the time because you commission and you wear the rank, but you don't go. There's a gap. So you have your which calls your entry. It's called the I forgot what the acronym stands for, but it's your EAD. So I commissioned 3 May, and it was great to be around family, celebrate, and then we went out to eat, and it was just like it was like, dang, that this really happened. And then you have to wait to go to tech school. So it was more it was in a sense, it was great to celebrate. It was great to see that. It was a lot of hard work. I would say and to walk across the stage, take the oath on stage
Yeah.
at the Charleston Southern graduation, and then we had our commissioning ceremony where we had all our family and just to see you see everybody celebrating among their family. It'll be a lot of military people, so it'd be like one of my friends, his brother was an officer, his dad was an officer, and his brother administered the oath. They cried, they hugged, and
Wow.
so it was great and surreal, but it still didn't feel real until I got here, and I'm like, dang, I've never seen this many second lieutenants. This like you don't see them often because you most time when you see an officer, it's a captain and operational. So like to be here
Yeah.
and like here in Mississippi at Keesler at training base amongst a bunch of butter bars, I'm like, damn, this I'm a unicorn right now. This is rare.
Right.
To be here is a blessing. This is like what I prayed for, what I worked hard, stayed resilient, took a lot of bumps and bruises through ROTC, had to grow because I'm more of an introvert. And as an officer, you gotta be vocal, you gotta be that leader. But I also learned I don't have to be a type A personality. The thing that I bring to the
Yeah.
table is I try to set the example as I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna be the example. I'm gonna show up on time. I'm gonna work out, do what I gotta do. Like I got here, I'm gonna tell my story, and I want to see that inside of the person that I'm grooming. And I know I can step down from my position or go somewhere else, and I've already equipped the next person and the people around me to continue going.
I used to struggle with that. My pops told me really over and over. It was just like I used to think like as different opportunities were coming up, like okay, you run your own shift, you got this many troops, or hit this rank, this, that, and the third. Obviously for you, then crossing now you're a second lieutenant. And even when I was talking about commissioning with him, I was like, man, I don't think I could do it for real. Like I don't think my personality and like where I naturally fall on the spectrum of attachment to this or that, I don't think I don't know how it will go for me because I know the officers that I meet that I'm inspired by. I know the officers that I meet that I never want to interact with again, and I don't know where my personality fits as far as having the right impact because it's a lot that goes into you're leading a charge.
Mhm.
Um, I guess for me, I felt as much as and I appreciate the military and we love it and we're grateful for it and
Mhm.
but even still, there's things that come with it. And I
Mhm.
guess for me, I was concerned about my belief in everything that was being done and how it had to be done, and
Mhm.
like wanting to lead people. And his biggest thing was just like, your 60, your 70, your 80 is
It's different.
is different and can be better than
Mhm.
somebody's 100, 110, 120. So kind of lose sight and fear not of where you stand
Mhm.
compared to those other people because who you are and how you are is a
It's
gap closer.
it's hard because of course you get those insecurities creep in the backside of your mind, but you also got to remember what all you've endured. And just because you're
Yeah,
not the loud out front, you still could pick
yeah,
your moments, and then you
hmm
still like people naturally gravitate towards me. They want to know
hmm
what I've been through, what I've did, how did I get here? Because my situation is unique. So I still keep that in the back of my mind, and I still let people be themselves, whether they want to be the loud case or whatever the case may be, because I know they aren't perfect, and I still know what I've been through and how the
yeah,
greatness has come with it. And I know I still have that ability because I'm here with you at the end of the day. I'm still your peer at the end of the day. So I understand where you come from because sometimes we talk about situations and different briefings and stuff like that. And as a new officer, I hear other people's story. I hear stories from like colonels. I've seen one of my peers that came from the same detachment as me a couple years ago, and I've heard her stories, and I'm like, dang, am I ready for this? But then again, I don't think you're ever ready for anything when it comes to the military. And it goes back to, like I said, you get thrown into the fire and you figure it out. And that's just, I feel like as a young black male, it's
man,
the resiliency is what builds us. We can take literally nothing and make it great, and people will come and be like, they want to know. So
yeah. They appreciate it, and I was gonna touch on that. 'Cause I know we'll talk about it even a little bit later, but I think that too is a part of it because for the most part, and it's not to say that it's not changing. It's not to say that it's I don't want to blanket it because it's unfair to
mhm,
blanket it, but there, to me, as far as my understanding of my own journey and everybody else's journey that's close to mine, as you begin to attach yourself to certain things, or you're accomplishing certain things, or you find yourself in the rooms of other people who are accomplishing certain things, and we're talking being an officer is a lofty goal. It's a hell of an
mhm,
accomplishment. It's a walk that's above normal. And with that same concept applied to Coop. Coop is working, on the base in DC, having
mhm,
access to the aircraft that serve some of our nation's highest. I think that's the best
mhm.
way I can put it without getting in
Give it away.
trouble. I feel
Mhm.
like for Teamer and I,
That's the
project
next
manager, all
thing.
the same.
Mhm,
Like that is an elite or above normal career path, and you're entrusted with a whole lot from resources, personnel, people. And my point is, when you're someone that's in those spaces, usually there's not many black people there,
mhm,
and so I think that question of is who I am enough is even more present because there's not many of you to look at and look
mhm.
to for like that constant reminder of those small pockets of reassurance. Like, no, this is exactly where I like when I'm around y'all, I'm like, damn, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be, right?
And that's what I wanted to touch on too is so it's about your support system too. And that's why I
Yeah.
enjoy that you've made me a guest again, called me a friend, and to have this conversation is the things that remind you that the things I've done have been great. So the other day, like I had to take a screenshot of this message. I text Teamer because I had like my second, like one of my another hard test. Like, so I'm in
Yeah.
cyber school to be a cyber officer, and it's called undergraduate cyber school. And there's
Okay.
people, my peers that are here at this schoolhouse with me. have been either doing this, they're reservists or guard, and they do this stuff as their
Hmm.
side job, or the
Hmm.
ones that did ROTC as well have gotten a degree in computer science. I did not get a degree in computer science. I got a degree in graphic design. So I'm literally there's stuff that I'm learning is stuff that they've
Hmm.
learned in a semester of college. I'm learning it in a week. So last week I had to
Yeah.
take a test on scripting code. Never touched code
Ooh.
before, but it's
Ooh.
stressful. And
Yeah.
it was 5 days that I had to learn it. And it didn't click to the last day. And Teamer texted me the other day and was like, bro, you got to stop playing with yourself because at this point, I passed the test and let him. And he was like, bro, you didn't text me all day. Like I was nervous. I was at work nervous for you.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah. Yeah.
let him know I passed it. And I wish I can read directly what the text says. Some words I'm not going to put on here. But he was like, bro, you got to stop self-doubting yourself because there's nothing you can't do and you've been accomplishing things. So it's
Man.
like for as yourself as an individual, you never think that you're doing great things if you're a humble person. You just like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm just doing what's next. So you
Yeah.
never take that moment to really take things in. Like even before you asked me how I felt about commission, I was like, well, it didn't feel that great at the moment because it was like
Yeah.
it was just another thing I was doing to get where I'm going. It wasn't like I couldn't really celebrate the success because I knew there's more that like commission is just one step. Yeah, I did that, but you still gotta graduate tech school and you still gotta go operational. So it's just like it's all about your support system and keeping the stuff implemented to build you up when you feeling low. Like I have my
Hmm.
commission in plaque, have my portfolio from graphic design. I go in a room and be like, yeah, I really did that. And I have people like that just tell me like, bro, why you be stressing? Why you be doubting yourself? Like
Yeah.
you've done X, Y, and Z, bro. You can do
Yeah.
this. My homie, another one of my homies, bro, you wanted to go cyber. Why you crying and bitching and complaining about it being hard? Yes, it's hard, but that don't mean you can't do it. You just gotta lock in.
Yeah. No, 100%. It's the best thing. And I think the other thing that keeps me from being able to, it's part of what you was getting at, almost like an inability to be present
Hmm.
as a matter of accomplishment and the pursuit that goes into it and that on to the next portion of it. And I think the other part that robs me too is just like I know what I put in, and so I almost have a hard time like being appreciative because I'm not surprised, right? So
Hmm.
like there's a part of me that's like is humble about everything that's happening because I know it doesn't have to be that way, and that's with God's grace. There's another
Hmm.
part of me that's like there is no other outcome too, right? Like when the
Hmm.
promotion comes, the reaction would have been stronger if it didn't, right? Because
Hmm.
it's the humility is there, but at the same time, it's kind of expected because the work's put in. It's always put in. No
Hmm.
differently than like I feel like you watch sports enough. It's some niggas hit a game when it's shot. But man, I don't know. I don't know how I did that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just glad it went
Yeah.
in. And then there's other people, you could ask, like Kyrie, or you know, Braun, you ask certain people,
Or
and
Kobe,
it's just
he
like,
was
no, I work. Yeah, oh, you ask Kobe, my God, you ask Kobe. He's like, I took that shot 10,000 times. So like, I'm glad it went in, but I also knew it would
yeah.
because like
I,
it would have been more of a surprise if it didn't because the work's been there, and so, but that doesn't make the feat any less worthy of being championed. And so I seen PJ Tucker. It's one of because I've been I don't post often, so like I've been prepping one of my dumps. So I've been, grabbing shit from a bunch of random places. And PJ Tucker had posted this thing, that meme where it's like I think somebody's like reading a book and it's like how to do this. And it's another book on the table. But the first book was like how to be present. And then the other book was like how to be present after that. And
mm,
so like that is it as far as I think continuing to go through things. And then when you mention your support system, one thing that does help to appreciate moments as they come is family. How did your mom feel when you were able to accomplish that goal? Because I know you guys are incredibly close and she means a lot to you. So if you had a hard time sitting in that moment, I know she was there.
she was there, and so man, uh, yeah, man, that's my rock. That's my support system. That's where I get my strength from. And I was like, hmm, when got to that point where I'm the last person. I put together the commissioning ceremony for our detachment, thanked everybody as leadership, go down, thank all my peers, thank some of my supervisors that I was there, and then it got to her, and just to know that she's beat cancer twice, continues fighting, is just like, if she can do all that, be a single mom, still take care of me,
Yeah,
provide, I never missed the Christmas and stuff like that. It's
yeah,
just a blessing for her to see me achieve great things, and she just get the she's a proud mom, so she gets to go and tell people, show pictures and stuff like that, and just it's a full circle moment to see her happy and just to accomplish things for her. To be honest, because I know she
yeah.
sacrificed, and even if she didn't want to be behind me because she didn't think I was doing the right thing, she was still behind me
Hmm.
at the end of the day. And then I'm the youngest, so when I went off and just did my own thing, went to the military, said I was never going to join the military, it hurt her. But and then now she could see why I make the decisions, and she just let me be, as a sense, as like a wild horse, a Mustang. She let me be that person and just behind me 100%, knowing that I'm gonna make the right choice at the end. So I'm very
Yeah,
goal oriented. I'm always thinking about what can I do next. It's never like it's a I'm never content, as in, not that I want more, but like I like the grind. I like achieving things, and
yeah,
like facing challenges to see if I can do it. So I mean,
yeah,
when we talk about the role I took to commission, it wasn't an easy one, to be honest.
yeah, yeah. And I think you got to like failure. I think one thing I'm learning is like not obviously not failure to the point where you lose it all. I mean, but
Mhm.
sometimes it takes that too. But I guess you got to lose some games to win more. And I think there's an emotion that's brought to you, like when you lose. Like I compare everything to sports 'cause it's the easiest way for me to understand life. Like I aspire to be somebody who understands politics more and
Mhm.
stocks more, but that don't always translate. What does make sense is like when you lose, you go back and you watch the film and you nitpick and you obsess and you say what you need to say to yourself to do it right the next time. And I think that's a part of like wanting to accomplish things too. And seeing people do that for themselves in their own way, like your mother, as far as everything that she's had to overcome. DNA goes a lot further than just looks, right? And so that strength and that fortitude came from somewhere, and you got a chance to see it on display, and then have an opportunity to recreate and showcase that in your own life. Because that fight is it's not what you see in commercials. That
Oh,
fight against cancer is it's a horror movie,
mhm.
genuinely, as far as just the I think that the hardest part was like that
Seeing what it
shit is alive and it's inside of somebody doing the exact opposite that
Yeah,
you
it's
would
just
want it to be doing
yep.
to somebody. And I've never seen anything like it. And I
Mhm.
prayed to never have to see anything like it again. I mean, my father lost his battle with it, but I remember just as time would pass with the hair loss and the weight
Mhm.
loss and the mass is here, the mass is there, and like even just standing looking at his physique and
Mhm.
just the proportion of his shape, the fingernails from the
Nemo.
treatments,
Yeah.
the exhaustion in his face. It's doing just it's wreaking unbelievable havoc.
Yeah, because you go from seeing a person that's completely healthy, working, doing whatever they got to do, to just slowly trickling down to something way different. Like it's
Way
hard to see,
different.
it's hard to see my mom. She can't sit still because she's feeling the stuff in her body, and she's got to constantly
Yeah.
rub her hands, or she constantly feels cold. She can't eat certain foods because the taste isn't right, and it sucks because you get two different, you just slowly seeing that person kind of deplete away. So it's it's tough.
I wouldn't. one, because you talking about the character and the resiliency of these people.
Mhm,
Um, I don't I shoot me, you know what I'm saying? Because I know I would fight too,
mhm.
because that's all we do, and I just
Yeah.
wouldn't want to. I mean, you are pitting the existence and the core of who you are against this disease, and
Mhm.
I wouldn't want to. I don't want to know the exhaustion that comes from that,
Yeah.
because I've already seen the exhaustion that comes from everything else that we fought to accomplish or get over. So I'm like, man, I couldn't. And the fact that she's still here, what a blessing, what an honor, and I know you already know every phone call, every text message, every moment that you spend, you cherish it because she's fought for it. I mean, it was just insane. And we found his, it was in stage 4, and I didn't even really know shit about cancer. I'll never forget texting the group chat. I'm like, yeah, the doctor said he'll be fine. It's stage 4, but they said he'll be okay. Like,
Stage 4
and
is
I
tough.
can imagine, and nobody really said anything back. And I know now why, but like at the time, like looking back, I'm like, shit, I didn't know what we was really up
And
against,
then
praying against, and
and then your friends don't want to be that not optimistic person and say,
yeah,
I mean, I
yeah,
get being like the complete honest person, but damn, you don't you in a group chat too, for one.
yeah,
And then you sent the message optimistic, like they don't know that you don't know anything. And it's hard through text messages. And I get your pain too, because my dad as well had pancreas cancer, stage 4. He went to the
yeah,
doctor. They was like, Mr. Ford, are you sexually active? Because we think you got something. He's like,
yeah,
I don't remember the last time I had sex, so I don't know what you're talking about. And then come to find out, he got
right,
pancreas. At that point, it's just like,
yeah. It's pretty much the end. You know what I'm saying? It's not. I mean, I'm sure there's some miracles out there that exist, but it's the end of a hard fought road, and yeah. So just such a just remarkable, bro, for real.
mm,
That she's fought and won. You know what I'm saying? She's 2-0 with life, and that's a story worth telling. And yeah, she's always in my prayers, and just nuts, bro. Just
yeah,
nuts. It's such a wild disease.
I appreciate you.
Yeah. But I'm glad she was there to be able to witness that. And obviously there's more to follow, especially because she wasn't even always the biggest fan of you being in the military in general.
No, she did not want me
Um,
to join.
yeah. So to see how far you've taken it, and I think all the opportunities that come on the other side of it is just incredible. And so now that you get to the point where you graduate, you walk across that stage, what's next for the process? Like, where are you now? And then
So,
where do you have to go?
so right now, I'm in Biloxi, Mississippi. Definitely a change of pace, but a needed change of pace because I'm here at tech school. It's not like enlisted tech school where it was a breeze. Like I said earlier, there's people that have trained, as in they've done civilian jobs in cyber, or they have a degree in computer science and they wanted to be here. And I wanted to go pilot, super competitive, couldn't get that AFO QT as a beast, couldn't get the scores I
Yeah.
wanted. And then you had to be top of your class in ROTC, and I lacked a little bit in ROTC. As in still working on those public speaking skills. So I'm a nervous briefer. I get a lot of anxiety when I really just need to get up there and just slow down. I know the information. I just gotta
Yeah.
get out of
Preparation
that.
cures all.
Hmm. And then also just stop saying like in a negative mindset. Just get up there, a positive mindset. Like you got this, bro. Just kill it. Slow down, say what you gotta say, and go on about your business. Because I mean, nobody's perfect when they get up there. Like I see some instructors and they still be fumbling and stuff that
Man.
I would get knocked on in ROTC because my commander was a Air Force Academy grad. She came from ops tempo. She know how it is. She was prepping me like, if you get up there and your slides ain't right, and you up there making a fool of yourself, your squadron commander gonna kick you out the meeting and make you do it again when you
Yeah.
back. So it's like, all right, you gotta put on your big boy pants and be prepared for it. So yeah,
Yeah.
but more on the lines. So you get here and there's four shreds of cyber. You got offense, you got defense, you got base comm, and then you got XCOM. So you get here, you go through initial skill training, which is ICF, which is most likely the hardest part of our training. You it's 3 blocks long. So once you get past that, you graduate ICF, and it's supposed to be a little bit more smooth sailing. But the next beast is the Security Plus test, which is a standardized test that anybody that's trying to go into any kind of technical career field, you have to get that. So they give us 7 days to study for that on your own. So you have to study for that on your own. I passed that bitch by 2 points. And then
Pass though.
yeah, I passed. So I mean,
Yeah.
I've took my bumps and bruises while I've been here. I got watched back in the second block, not because I didn't know the material. Obviously, I put in the time in studying and stuff like that. But when I got
Yeah.
to the test, I was like, oh wait, this is easy. These questions are straightforward. I'm rushing through it and then don't check my answers and then get my test back. It's like in grade school the teacher giving you a test upside down. It's like we
Yeah.
got the highest grade was at 90, the lowest grade was at
Yeah.
57. My paper had a bunch of red marks. It said, please stay after
Oh
class. I said,
man. Please
fuck.
stay after class.
But it happened for a reason. So I needed to lock in, get off. I deleted all my social medias. I still have my
Uh,
brand account and I get on there every once in a while, but just lock in and understand that it's not gonna come easy. The effort that you put in is what you're gonna get in. So right now I'm in
yeah.
17X, and so you strat out. So the people that are doing offense and what's called Sierra Alpha and Sierra Bravo, which is offense and defense, they go on to a different part of the schoolhouse. And I'm going Delta, where it's base comms and XCOM. XCOM is more like high tempo, more operations, more deployments, more TDYs, and that's where I'm trying to
Ooh.
go. So I have an interview with the commander in 2 weeks, and I'm going against my peers as well. Whoever else want to go Delta Bravo, and I'll find out. And and I got 2 more blocks, and I'll find out if I got 17 DB uh, XCOM, and then I'll have 2 more months of training after that, and I also put in my basic preference.
Okay. And so calm is, I don't think it makes plain sense to anybody. I'll just go ahead and say it. I think people, I work in calm, I work in IT. It's like, okay, cool.
Mhm.
Uh and then obviously with respect to just military clearance and all that stuff that comes with it. So with 17 DB, what is the aim for that job? Like what is it that you go to work every day and your aim or your
So
end goal is to do what?
the end goal with that is more TDY, it's more deployment, it's more fast paced. That's what I'm used to with my enlisted job of the 24/7 operations. I'm more doing it for the experience and to be able to go different places. Like a lot of
Mm,
people come into this career field like me, where they didn't get their first selection, they didn't have a degree in this, or there's people that actually want to do this. So most people that actually want to do this, they go offense and defense, Sierra Alpha and Sierra Bravo. And those are your smart people, like they know how they've been setting their whole life up for this because that's not an easy thing to do because it's the tech school here, which is 6 months, and then you get an additional 2 months here to go to I can't it's more training, and then you go to San
mm,
Antonio for 2 years and train more. So you really have to be about that. You really have to know like all that stuff that entails with like cyber attacks, vulnerabilities, like all that stuff that comes with computers, routers, switches,
yeah,
all of that stuff that deals with computers. It's a very large spectrum.
it's vast. I think right now working in automation and controls, basically we take the larger components of HVAC equipment that air
Mhm.
handlers, say a rooftop unit, uh, stuff that you can see. No, like the unit you have outside your home, or like if you've seen the top, play even if you play video games, you've seen the top of like a skyscraper has all those units. So
Mhm.
that stuff is responsible for supplying the air. But as far as telling the air how to go, when to leave, where to stay, it's a whole
Mhm.
computer network infrastructure that makes that possible. A whole lot of data wire and stuff has to be plugged and connected. You've got routers,
Mhm.
you've got switches, you've got servers,
Mhm.
things that then have to be configured and programmed and create this building management system that can stand itself up. So we're on or at least I'm on the network infrastructure side of it. So I don't
Yeah.
put in the equipment, no construction, but like I said, the routers and the switches and the MSTP and the backnet and the
Mhm.
IP and all of that, that's what we're in. Ain't no shit about that. And still
Yeah.
learning about it because it's vast, right? And what can
Mhm.
communicate to this and what can't communicate to this. And um, it's a never ending market. And I
Mhm.
think, and you have to keep learning, right? Because
Yep.
it's moving so fast.
And that's
Um,
the
go
that's
though.
another reason why I pick cyber because
Yeah,
and I could do it here and then I know I'm on the back half of my career and I can get out and do it on the outside. And then the
yeah,
thing is,
and make some money.
and then with the Delta Bravo is like I'm gonna be in charge of a small team in case a natural disaster happens and we have to go set up comp in some area.
I guess, and so that was the other part of my question. So, like, what's the day job, right? So you got the TDYs and the travel, but when you say offense, what's a day job for that? When you say defense, what's the day job for that? Like, when you go to work, without saying what you can't say, what is it that you sit at your computer and you're doing what?
I don't know how it is for Sierra Alpha or Sierra Bravo because that's not something I'm interested in and I haven't really dug into it. But for me,
Okay,
as on the comm side as Delta, it's more like how you would think an officer role would be. It would be more admin work, making sure the commander knows what's going on in our flight. So I'll be working with like your senior NCOs when it comes to like those weekly war meetings with your commander
mm,
and stuff like that. And then if of course if any discipline actions get up to that level where I have to take action, then it's that. So now we're learning more like large scale. So we do a lot of briefings too. And it'll be like some of them will be day of, you'll get like 2 hours to prep for it.
man,
Or
yeah,
it'll be like a course, a couple of days to brief on it. But now that I'm getting more into that advanced cyber stuff for school is more
yeah.
it's more of like stuff that you're gonna present to higher leadership so they can understand what's going on and make a decision based on the standards that they've pushed down to your exact flight, I would say.
Okay. So you're still basically you have a trade that you're going to specialize in, which is
Mhm.
the cyber element of it, but then your day job is still surrounding what we know to be true of an officer's existence, where you've got the briefings, you've got the email, you've got the personnel management,
Mhm.
um,
You have to put
punitive
together.
actions if need be. Yeah, still advising the flight chief
Mhm.
and all of those things. As you're in class and you've got the class part of it, it's just the learning part of it that we all continue to get better at it. Do you feel like as you're sitting there, because you were talking about how you were amongst people who went to school for cyber,
Mhm.
and so they might have the upper hand, if you will, when it comes to that.
Mhm.
But you have served already and
Mhm.
know the end of line of like where these briefs have to go and how this needs to do this and how this command is going to impact that. Like you've seen operational Air Force before, you've been a part of operational Air Force. Do you feel like you have a leg up in what that is and what that's going to be compared to just where the cyber element of it stands?
No, because I just put on E5 when I left active duty. So I didn't have to do any briefings or like that. It was more of me just in in charge of a section or in charge of a shift, like
Okay.
three-man shift or two-man shift. It But then again, it just reminds me like what we've been talking about lately is just like your slides have to be maybe exact to a T because some commanders' preference is a certain way.
Hmm.
There's might be terms that I might already know compared to my peers, but then
Hmm.
again, I just try not to let things get to me because I know, like I found out I'm at 9 years of service and I only need 11 to retire. And part of me is like, do I ride it out and do active duty where it's like they get on you hard about little things, or do I go reserve where it's way more chill and
Only
it's
need 11 years to retire.
yeah, it's
What do you
crazy,
mean by
right?
that?
20, because 20, I'm at 9 years of service.
Oh, you only got 11 years to go.
Yeah,
Got it. I thought
not in
something had
total, not
changed
in
since I
total.
left.
Yeah,
Listen, I thought something had changed since I left. What you
no,
mean? What you
no,
mean?
no,
There's
no.
an
I
option
mean,
to
it's not,
retire at 11? I was like, y'all got me fucked up. Wait a minute.
no. So I meant to
Like,
say it as I'm at 9 years of service. I only need 11 more years. So I mean, I try not.
to get that bag. Yeah.
So I try not to let things stress me out. Like I know there's people that are probably going to be way more better than it's as as me at the end of the day. But I know I'm here for a reason, and we at the same table for a reason. So we had to go
Yeah.
through the same process, and you might have been a little better, but I'm also here, and I'm still gonna. I might be not. I'm not directly competing with you because that's not my personality. Like I'm more focused on
Hmm.
myself and doing what I gotta do to get through here because I know you just gotta pass at the end of the day. I don't need.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of it would look great on me to get DG, but at the end of the
Yeah.
day, I know I got the upper hand. Like you have so much more years. I don't have that many. I only have 11. And,
Yeah.
and I've been in the reserves as well. And I know how the
Yeah.
lifestyle compares. Money
Yeah.
might not be the same thing, but I know it's chill in the reserves. Active duty is just like,
It's an onslaught.
yeah.
It's an existence apart from many, for sure.
Mm. And it's like, why
Um,
focus on certain things when it's not that important? Like, why do we do this when this is the overall goal? Like, why good on somebody about their slides not looking the right way when we just need to get the brief done?
yeah. I think that's one thing I appreciate about where I work now. And like I said, my girl's a lawyer. I watch how she works. There's so much emphasis put on what actually needs to be done, and so little emphasis put on what doesn't. And the productivity and the products that are able to be crafted and created because of that is incredible. Like we spend next to no time talking about and part of that is again like the assumption is that everybody comes here because they want to work. But like we don't obviously like we're not who's spending 2 hours talking about how somebody came to work dress wise. We're not, right? That meeting is about how do we serve our customer best. We hope that you would take some pride and come to work or walk into this meeting looking how you would hope to be perceived. That's you. But you're here. Did you bring your contribution to the goal today?
Yep.
Right? If your hair's not cut, that's your business. You look crazy as hell, but that's not what this meeting is about. And just kind of focusing on what matters and the energy that's created from that. Whereas I feel like active duty can be bunkered down and lost in a bunch of shit that it matters from a standard and uniform standpoint, but from an end of line product that we're pushing out or that we're responsible for protecting, however you want to see it, nah, this shit don't matter that much. In the grand scheme of things.
But then again, another thing to it also, it helps me play the game. So it's like take things
True.
with a grain of salt and look at it for a higher uh,
Yeah.
from a higher picture and be like, all right, I know, like I said, like I know I just need to graduate and I can
Yeah.
get
I just need
better.
to get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just need to get out of here. And then like when we was talking on the phone before, like, the what you had to endure getting out, working 3 jobs, the lifestyle switch that comes from the money that you were making and the consistency of said money that you were making versus I got to work 3 jobs just to keep this, and then naturally the debt that anybody would accrue as a part of that, the amount of stuff that you gave up, put up with, sacrifice, and maneuver through, you really got no choice but to finish
Yeah.
because
And I can't
you
and I can't dwell on little negative things if I'm
yeah
gonna accomplish these great things. So it's just like I gotta move faster. And like you said, I've been yeah, it was hard going through college and not making that active duty money and then
yeah
still trying to pay my mortgage, still trying to pay my truck. But
mhm.
it paid off at the end because I mean
Yeah,
I was
big
able to
time.
sell my first home,
Yeah,
make 6 figures, pay off all my debt, put money in online savings, and the goal is just to make 6 figures again. So it's just
yeah,
like that's the things that keep me going is those accomplishments again. And
yeah.
just
Because once you
wanting
taste it, um, you know it's possible for you. And I think, and again, I'm not saying that this is what should happen to anybody, but I think, there's a reality where you say you hit a lick,
mm,
whatever it is, real estate, I don't care if it's fan duel, whatever it is, that moment where I got a large, I just happen to come across a large sum of money, right? And large
mm,
is relative. It could be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. It could be 5,000, whatever it is that's large to you. And you might fuck around and blow it.
but I'm not scared to lose it is the thing because I did
But you're
it
not scared to lose it because you
and
did it. You get
did
what I'm
it.
saying? I think everybody needs a chance to make and blow. And I'm not advocating for. I mean, honestly, listen. You make a lot of money. Get your financial advisor. Put some money in some ETFs
Ops.
and there's IRA and do all the right things, right? But
Mhm,
then let's say for some reason you don't. I get a big ticket and I lost it. The one thing that you know is for whatever reason, God thinks that you deserve that. And it will
mhm,
come again. And I think everybody deserves a chance to get 10 and blow 10 and be like, fuck. And then wait a minute, now I gotta go back to the drawing board. I can get 10 again. Now I'm gonna get 20. When I get this 20, when I get my hands on this next, you know what I'm saying? This next bag, I'm gonna hold on to it. I think everybody who wants to do great things needs to do that. Possibly. Or you could just be great the whole time. But I'm one that finds value, like I was saying earlier, I find value in losing the game
mhm,
because I might not watch the film the same way. If I'm always making the right choices and everything just always works out for me, I might not. It might take too long for that introspect to
mhm.
come for me, and
And
and so like I find value in that.
that hunger make you I mean, that failure make you hungry too. And it's just like
Yeah,
I feel like life is like how NBA players talk about that playoff atmosphere. They like, damn,
yeah,
I did it. I gotta do that again because that's
yeah.
different. And
That's
to be
different.
on
Like
that
now that
stage and
I've been to the playoffs, I can't. I don't want to be in Cancun in May. I ain't trying to be there. I don't want to
yeah.
be there with my wife. I don't want to be there with my kids. I don't want to be there at all because I know that it's other niggas out here still playing, still competing,
Mhm,
and competing at a different level. I want to taste that as many times as I can, for sure,
mhm.
for sure. No more stop planning vacations in April because I don't want to be there. I want to be even if we in the play in, I want
That's
to play for
the
something.
yep.
Yeah, I want to step it up. So no, I think that's a imperative aspect of just growth and accomplishment. And so once you are able to, you say you put in your BOP, so you say you graduate, you get through your process.
Mhm.
Being home has been such a huge part of your military story and experience, while also coupled with the reality of wanting to travel and do different things. So when you filled out your BOP, what did you put on there? And in what order did you go about it?
So I haven't filled it out yet. I filled that out in like 2 weeks, but when I do, it's all
Yeah,
overseas. I'm not even lying to you. It's Germany,
all
it's
overseas.
England, it's Italy,
Yeah,
it's Spain. It's not
yeah,
gonna be Korea. I'm not gonna hold you because that's
yeah, for
pure
sure. I mean,
ex
no issue with that.
yeah, it's pure exercises and that's just for a young like 22-year-old, somebody that likes to party and stuff. Like I'm over that. I'm
Yeah,
more my money is going towards shoes, quote, like
Yeah.
my want for being successful in life is not uh it's because I like collecting things. So
Yeah,
and I
and I think where you end up overseas be a hell of a place to shop. Like I'm trying to go. I think I told you. I know my girl and I for sure going. We're going to Tokyo for my birthday this year. Um, and I want to shop. And she goes to Paris in a couple weeks, and I'll be sending her money when she gets there. You know, what I'm saying, bring me back something.
Mhm.
Um, because I can't. I don't know. I can't stay away from it. Hopefully you
Scratch
grab
that.
one of those because you know me and Coop on a jet to at least come see what it's talking about over there. And then once you get there, you'll now be in a leadership position that many haven't been able to do. What's one thing
Mhm.
you plan to do as a leader in your position that you wish leaders in the past would have done for you?
Uh, I just want to be the leader that I would say I've only had one bad supervisor. And the good ones is the ones I want to be. And the bad one is the one I want to be exact opposite. But I've always been
Yeah,
one of the questions I've been marinating on because when I have that interview with my commander is your leadership style. And like I said, I'm more introverted, but I know people
right.
naturally gravitate towards me and I know people feel home around me. I'm more of a people person. I like to talk to people on a one-on-one
Yeah,
level, get to know them, pick their
yeah,
mind, know their goals, know their strengths, know their weaknesses. So I model my leadership uh, philosophy or how I do it in a mentor aspect. So I just want to build up the next person. I know I feel like I got here by accident, but not by accident, as in this wasn't the plan to go military, but now I'm here and I took a lot of bumps and bruises, but I on stood on business, as they say, as in I and
yeah,
and stuck with it. And I didn't take no from an answer. I mean, people might have told me like you can't do it, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, I was gonna go get it regardless because the thing about me is so when I joined the military, I didn't think I wanted to do it anymore. For that first 2 years was rough. I was the youngest airman in
hell
my
yeah.
shop. The military environment is different. They was shitting on me. I remember my shop chief pulled me in, came into the helmet section, was like, "Hey, come here, follow me," and made me clean the bathroom by myself, the men's bathroom by myself.
Ooh,
And then my first supervisor was just
ooh,
bipolar. He was low key racist, and he would say
yeah,
borderline stuff, nothing I could do, but
yeah.
just laugh it off, I guess, which isn't the right thing to do. But it's like
But
I don't know. The
it's
military was
it's part
toxic
of
at the
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Do you feel like the racism and the difficulty? Because my next question was going to be, how important is this opportunity as a black man? Because I was looking up some statistics, and
it's not many black
this
officers,
is
males.
it's not many black officer males. Probably, I mean, males or females, really, but not at all. I think I was looking up some statistics even prior to us jumping on here, and as early as this is probably like as recent as 2018, but the numbers probably went up, but the scale is probably relative, where it was like only 6% of
Mhm.
roughly 35,000 officers are black in the United States Air Force. So, I guess my two-part question as it relates to being a black officer in the Air Force, because you touched on racism, environment-wise, do you think the officer environment is harsher or more or filled with more microaggressions or anything to that effect versus enlisted? And then how do you feel about just having this opportunity to be a black officer in general?
In general, it's great because it's like you setting a bar, you setting a precedent, and then plus I'm like the first officer in my family, so that's even crazier.
Yeah,
And it's just showing people that it can be done. And it might not be easy,
yeah.
but I mean, I'm in a group chat with two other dudes. Well, one of them, Cannon. I
Oh yeah,
chop it up with him all the time. He is CSU grad. He the one that told me to do it. Well, when I was inquiring about it, he's the one that put me on game. He's like, it's really not that hard. You just go up there and do an interview. So I mean, we chop it up, talk about it. We talk about life stuff, selling
yeah,
houses, where we are, TSP and stuff like that. So it's like
yeah.
you just got to find those people and gravitate. gravitate towards them and just get those
Kind of stay
nuggets
out
or
the way, make
immediately.
it happen.
Mhm. And then
Yeah,
I try not to let stuff bother me because I mean, obviously, it's stuff that's gonna happen, or you're gonna feel some type of way. You're gonna feel like it's catered towards a race, and
yeah,
I feel like there's still, hate to say it, but there's still white men that get empowered just from leadership roles. So it's you're gonna have those people there, but uh, I don't know. I just look towards my faith in situations like that because there's no point of bickering and going back and forth with them because at the end of
yeah,
the day, they still gonna abuse their power and try to hold it against you. But I just think about it. And, hey, I pray to God, and I know He's got me here today, so I know He's gonna take care of me despite how you might be as a person. I'm not gonna try to change you or go out my way for you just because you
yeah.
racist, to be honest. But
Has
that's
your
me. I
connection, yeah, has your connection with God deepened, obviously, as a part of all of this?
deep heavy. That's the one thing I rely on. I have a like a daily affirmation book that I read every day and I meditate on. And then if you was had my phone and you look at my Instagram, prayers just pop up all the time.
Yeah,
So it's just like,
so that you're always consuming it.
yeah, that's one thing
Yeah,
that's helped me because I've been in tough times where I was so consumed in college that I couldn't even have that relationship with God. I was more focused on work and stuff like that. So it's just like
yeah, yeah.
having to
And
have
so
that
having the
time.
time,
Hmm.
put that at the forefront, let it be the compass of your life. I mean, for people who
Yep.
are spiritual, it's important. There's no way around it. And even if you're not, there's something out there beyond you that's working in your favor. Um, but as always, we rooting for you, hand over foot. Always proud of you. I don't talk to Kenan as much, but you, Cannon, I believe a gentleman named John went the pilot route. I think y'all the three that we know from the dorm to
Mhm.
kind of take on this challenge and be successful with it. So I always got your back in that regard, and an inspiration for many for sure, because it's not easy to do in this life. It's a lot easier to lay down and chill, but it ain't easy to do. And so, we'll always take the time to give you your flowers on that.
Appreciate it.
Um, yeah, and then I think what comes with the height of certain pursuits and the money that comes with it
Ooh,
is
we get
the
that a good
opportunity to
one.
buy shit.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah, the opportunity to buy shit, and I don't take it lightly because I can't stop doing it. I'm always looking at shit, and so I didn't know how I was going to transition to this because this would be my
Mhm.
favorite part. Everybody not into it all the time, and I put sneakerheads. I don't even like to call myself that. I don't even. I just you people like what they like. They buy what they like. They buy a lot of whatever it is that they're into. It's guns for some people. It's exclusive alcohol for others. But I think just a byproduct of being kids born in the '90s and or born in the '90s, but then raised and influenced by people born right before that pocket. And there's
Mhm.
just certain about sneakers, basketball culture, and Fresh Prince and all of that shit. That's just a huge part of like
Mhm.
I feel like I'm always chasing nostalgia. Like or grab like you ever gonna stop wearing Jordan? I'm like, I don't think
Yeah,
so. Right? Like
yeah.
I can't. I've been waiting my
It's
whole
ingrained
life.
in the DNA.
Yeah, like I've been waiting my whole life to kind of like to do this and everything that I watched growing up. This is how everybody dresses what they're into. So um yeah, I can't stop. And I think it's been a great year. I think it's been a great 2 years for sneakers and like sneaker culture and like clothes. It was getting a little weird coming out of COVID and even some years prior to that. And I think better than anything, I think this year the revival of signature sneakers
Yes,
has
basketball
been
sneakers.
yeah, it's been incredible, right? Like I
Mhm.
haven't been disappointed with a single one. And I pulled some images. I wanted to see your take on a few of them. And the only thing I don't have up here that I'm equally as impressed with is I think Anthony Edwards has the best
Them
signature
shit
shoe.
fire. I ain't gonna
Yeah,
lie. And I
I think
also
he's got the best one.
the one I haven't worn them, but I've seen it. I'm like, God, they really did their thing. Like Adidas is starting to they get back on it. And I would say like the design of the new James Harden, just
I
the
got that
look
one
of
in
it.
here. Yeah,
Dude,
I
I
got
said
that
it's
one in here.
fire.
I'm gonna go ahead and just pop them up here, because I appreciate all of them for different reasons, and there's still some other ones. Like I didn't put Jason Tatum's in here. I'm glad he has a signature shoe, but I don't think
Nah,
Jordan really has
the team players
the.
know.
I don't think they have it, but I'll start with, for me, I think Devin Booker's shoe was incredible. One, because it's Nike has had a hard time. I think just speaking of the culture that we come from, as far as like the importance of basketball shoes in culture, I think
Mhm.
they've had a hard time um, finding closing that gap between shoes that you wear on the court, shoes that you wear off the court. Right? I'm not wearing LeBrons with jeans. We did. It was, that maybe
That was a
7 through
run.
10 run. That was a run, right? 7, 8, 9, 10. It was a lot of dope colorways that came in that. And then after that, it was kind of hard. I think we love Kobe to death. And I love seeing the amount of people that wear Kobe's shoes on the court, but they're meant to be kind of worn on the
Off.
court. And
Yeah.
so KD, same thing. And honestly, all of these, it's just a different time, because looking back, it's a
It
lot of
was
them could have still
released
stayed on the
them
court.
because they was releasing like Black History Month, Year of the Dragon. Uh,
Yeah,
it was like numerous drops around those shoes, and Nike kind of fell off. They don't have that big three signature shoes anymore. Like the D books are great. I just wish they would have had a better rollout for him. It's kind of
I
like
think the rollout was shit.
they did him like Kanye when they was trying to drop the Red Octobers. It was like, oh,
Right,
we dropping it, and then never dropped it. And then they
right.
didn't. I guess these were maybe just for friends and family. Like that first shoe should have been released to the public, but limited. And
Yeah,
then they dropped the second one. I mean, I wanted to cop, but I was more on the fence because it's like, well, these aren't the ones that they were really trying to get out to the public. Because like well, now you don't want
yeah.
the shoe.
I think and honestly, my critique and my criticism against all the signature shoes this year is the rollout. I think the rollout was bad for all of them. I think even Anthony Edwards has a slew of great commercials, but I hate the rollout, and I hate how long it's taken for him to get him and Booker. It seemed like it took a long time for them to get the colorways, that variety of colorways on and off the court, as far as marketing, to like really show what this shoe can do. Like it just seems like it's taking a longer time. Like I remember, I used to read Slam, and like they had that whole kicks issue that would come out before the season. And
Mm,
so, like when LeBron's playing in Miami, it's like, hey, this is the LeBron 8. This is the bread colorway. Before that, the South Beach colorways dropped the summer that he got there. So it's like it was so much build up and anticipation leading up into the season. Then when the season came, he was rocking different PEs every other night. And
yeah.
so you just get this whole like, oh shit. And then the playoff version of the shoe would drop. And it's just a
Yep.
year of like
When we gonna get
engagement.
these? Yeah. And keep
Right.
people talking about your shoe. And
All
that's
year.
another thing too. Ooh, what was I about to say? I was about to say something, but go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I don't like. That's what I don't like. I feel like it's taking way too long to really unpack what the Devin Booker shoe is, because it has unbelievable potential to me.
And they stopped catering towards. So I read a thing that the reason why they dropped Yeezy, and it was like they felt like the shoe wasn't not technology to better like performance and stuff like that. And that's what they're trying to say that that's their whole brand, and that's why they dropped them from Nike. And it's just like, yeah, I get that, but then also like people you're only catering to sports when you do stuff like that. There's people that generally just love sneakers. And
Yeah,
if you make the shoe about just being a shoe, like how the Kobe's and stuff was and LeBron's and the KD's was coming out, then
it's like
you wouldn't have had that drop off. It still would have been booming if you would have did the same thing with the new players like Devin Booker.
yeah, no, 100%. Because this shoe is a Tom Sachs element to it. Because I that's my go-to work shoe. The brown Tom Sachs, low top. I forgot what he called them. It's a Nike shoes, brown. What do you call them? Uh, Let's see. Google. Tom Sachs brown shoe. I guess he just calls it the Nike Craft General Purpose shoe.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah,
It was I know what you're talking about. The first one was dope as fuck, and the first one sold out fast, and then I was gonna get the second one, couldn't get the second one because it sold. It was just
yeah,
a generic shoe
very
from some
plain.
old white dude that was just like, I just want something comfortable. And that's what
Every
this
day.
is. And it would have boomed just like that if you would have marketed just like you marketed that shoe.
Yeah, because people would have liked it, and I don't think all the criticism would have existed. Because I like a lot of things, like the texture on this one. I like the
Hmm.
the book pages and that back tab, that heel tab that you use to put your feet on. Like I think
Yep.
it was a lot of details that were
Go
worthwhile. And
unnoticed.
then dog, and then PJ Tucker's. I don't know if you saw like the
I
Kentucky versus
see.
Duke or Kentucky versus Texas Longhorns edition
Oh,
that he had.
mm-mm. Fire.
Man, I'm trying to see if I can pull it up. Let's see.
And that makes me think of, have you seen the low top fours, the Nigel Sylvesters that he about to
Oh
come
my
out?
goodness. The green ones,
Ooh.
yeah.
Yes.
Fire. Yeah. Let me see. So this is
Oh,
the
the all leather go crazy.
yeah. So this is PJ Tucker's one of his PEs for the Devin Booker shoe. So it's the University Texas Longhorns versus Kentucky, which is the school that obviously Devin Booker went to. And so
Hmm.
it's supposed to be like one shoe versus the other. So I'm just like the possibilities with the right rollout were nuts. They just butchered it. But shout out to Devin. Hopefully they don't move too far away from this into the second one. I hate when they do a shitty rollout and then it's like I think Tatum on his third signature shoe. I ain't feel like we had time to live with either pair. So I hope that the rollout is slows down and they focus back on the storytelling.
Hmm.
I had these up next. I thought these were killer. Uh,
I don't know how I feel about the Jaws.
you don't know how you feel about the Jaws? It's tough. That's tough. What didn't do it for you?
It was when they first came out, can't remember what shoe they reminded me of, but they reminded me of a shoe.
Okay,
And it was just,
that you
I don't know,
weren't a fan of.
weren't a fan. Well, it just seemed like they just made his shoe based on another shoe in my sense. And they didn't make it
Mm.
more tailored to him as a player. So it's just like, all right, cool, y'all got a shoe.
And that was kind of it. Like so, maybe it was like missing some depth to it or some real
Yeah.
intent.
Because
You
like you said
go
with the
ahead.
Devin Booker, it plays on the whole D book thing. It has the pages. It has like chapter one, like
Hmm.
and then if you look at anybody's shoe, it has stuff that ties it to that exact player. And it's not
Hmm.
really, maybe I haven't seen the shoe in person, but it's not really any telling signs. And they gave him a dope rollout. He had
They
the
did
whole
give Ja a good rollout. Yeah,
he had the whole
they did.
snow theme thing out
Yeah,
of nowhere. We didn't even know he had a shoe. There was no hints that he had a shoe coming. It came out of nowhere, and he's
yeah,
like, "Oh shoot, he got a shoe." So
yeah.
it's like,
I agree with you. They did a good job with his, and especially because it came right on the heels of Kyrie getting dropped.
hmm.
Um, and then out of nowhere, Jaws got a shoe, and yeah, I remember the snow thing. I remember the Swarovski collaboration that came with it. Remember they had the commercial of him driving his Charger back and forth to the gym. So
Hmm.
yeah, I think they did a really good job with his rollout. And we'll see what the second one. I think even with his, like I'm glad that they just been focusing on pumping out good colorways, and then
Hmm.
hopefully we won't see another shoe until he gets to come back on the court and kind of stay for a while so we can really live with this one because he had a lot of cool PEs and stuff that came out as
Yeah.
well. Speaking of
So,
Kyrie getting dropped, he then goes to Anta where he gets a ridiculous opportunity to be the creative director and has his own brand, kind of in Jordan Wade Lee Ning fashion.
mhm.
Um, this is his debut signature. How'd you feel when you saw it?
It's just hard because we know the hype of what he had with Nike, like performance wise, people loved his shoes, and they did a lot. Like he had the SpongeBob, he had the Patrick ones, Black History. It's just it's just hard to look at this shoe the same when you know like what they
Really?
did. Yeah. So I mean, it's probably a great shoe. I haven't looked at many of them. And this one, I
Mm-hmm.
see he still got the classic Kyrie logo on the tongue, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like old. I guess that's where the phrase come back in my day. I wouldn't
Yeah.
wear these
Yeah.
off the court just
Yeah.
like I just bought a pair of Kobe's, like the Venice Beach Kobe's came out,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm wearing those with shorts. I don't see myself wearing this outside of just hooping. But the
Yeah.
Kobe's, I can throw on some shorts, a graphic tee, a fitted, we good.
Yeah. And make something happen with it. I think I was just happy that he one had an opportunity to go somewhere else
Mhm.
because I'm actually proud of Kyrie in more ways than I can celebrate. And not that he'll ever hear it from me, but I hope he hears it a ton from the people around him. One, like just there was the growing pain that he had to go through that he went through in front of all of us, no differently than the growing pains that we all have to go through, which is not under the public eye. There was
Mhm.
the mismanagement and mishandling of him, I felt, from the Brooklyn
Mhm.
Nets organization about his political stances and whether he wanted to get the vaccine or not. I thought they blew the shit. They took the cowardly route, in my opinion. Just blame it all on him. We won't take any onus. We'll keep putting him in front of, because there's something distinctively different about not just
Kyrie.
Kyrie and his growth as a human, but
Mhm.
Mark Cuban and the Dallas Mavericks. There's something perfect about that pairing because you don't really
Oh,
see any of those press conferences and any of that shit. And and it could just be not being in New York too, but there's just a different aura about Kyrie playing basketball in Dallas that just seems to be working really well. I'm rooting for him tonight. That'll be when
mhm.
we get off here. That's the first thing we'll go do is check out the game.
So
Um,
I respect Kyrie because he knows he plays basketball. He knows he got to that stage because all the hard work, the work ethic he put in and stuff like that. And then three, uh, he knows the responsibility that comes with the job. Is like now it's not only you're not just playing basketball. Now you're
yeah,
well, not mentor, but children look up. You're a role model and stuff like that.
yeah,
And but he was more of like, hey, I'm still a human being at the end of the day. Like you're not just gonna treat me in any kind of way. I'm still gonna
right,
still putting myself first at the end of the day to
right.
because it was more like he was bringing up mental health stuff and stuff like that. It was like we're not just players. Like you need to
Human
treat us like
beings, bro.
human beings at the end of the day.
Yeah,
We got to take care of ourselves. And I mean, it might sucks because it is a team sport. So it was like some of them it was like, oh, it was his birthday, and then he lying and say he's sick, but really you just didn't want to play that day. So I mean, it
you just
sucks,
didn't
but
want to play that day.
yeah. So it was just like, and then the media, and then he was in New York, and that's like the capital of media.
Yeah,
So it's like once you get
yeah,
it on that spectrum, they just gonna throw you under the bus. And now the team kind of disassociated with him and kind of I feel
yeah.
like they outcasted him, which I can't get behind the anti-Semitic stuff that he probably because me and my friend looked at it the other day because he's Jewish and I was like, what the thing that Kyrie did was it that bad? And he was like, I don't know, but it's still like if it's anti-Semitic, that's still fucked up at the end of the day because we went through some stuff. But he was like,
True.
I don't think it's that bad because from what we found, it was just like he retweeted uh, a documentary that was against Jewish people, and
Yeah,
the media, and he said the team was coming to him and telling him that to say that what he did, I forgot what exactly it said, but it was like it was borderline, and it was like now the team was trying to make him uh, say something that he wasn't aligned with.
right,
I mean,
right.
really,
Yeah, no.
he just really wanted to be an individual.
He really wants to be an individual, and I can't take that away from him. Um, I thought the documentary was I hadn't watched it, and I think it's layered and it has a lot of things that it brings to you. But I think the one thing that's important for all of us as it relates to just our journey learning is, um, I think there's some benefit in, if you're gonna study things, study all things, right? Like, and the
Mm,
easiest way I could put this is even in his last presser, he talked about how, he's been putting an added emphasis on his desire to play defense, because if you're going to be a student of basketball, it's not just offense. And people
mhm,
only talk about what it means to study offense. It's like, no, how much history and how much do you take away from the richness of the game on the defensive side of the ball? And so even with
mhm,
religion, I think there's value in understanding and knowing the reality and the plight and the journey and the
mhm,
accomplishment of the Jewish community. But I would be remiss to act as if there's absolutely nothing that can be gleaned or better understood about the duality of that time period
mhm,
if you don't study and read about the Nazis. And the
mhm,
scale of which you do either one doesn't have to be equal. It doesn't have to be 50-50. I know this much about this and that much about that. But to know nothing about that, even like from a religious context, we spend all this time, it's Jesus, 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 Jesus. Okay, cool. But then, like, how could you ever learn to recognize the devil in this world if you spend no time understanding how his existence manifests and
mhm,
presents itself? Because it's not, oh, I'm running late for the work. The devil got trying to get me. It's not that. It's way more as far as the reality of the fight that's happening.
mhm,
His presence is a whole lot more than that. I think one of the best books I've ever read was a book called Outwitting the Devil. And it's an older book that's been republished many times. And the author, like 1930s, 1940s, the author is having a conversation with the devil. Now, granted, he was like a psychologist, so he's playing himself and then he's writing the script for Satan, if you will. But they're sitting at a table and they're having a conversation about life and the world. And Satan, almost in like a context similar to the show Lucifer, is
mhm,
answering questions like, okay, cool. What is your presence in like the school system?
mhm,
Right. And like, it's a very weird book, but when you listen to it and look at it, okay, damn, that makes sense. He's like, yeah, like, everybody thinks I'm here and I'm affecting your life this way. No, the minute they took prayers out of school, depending on what you believe in, of course, that was
mhm,
me. That's the me that you should be worried about. Like, you look and it changes the way I feel like just
mhm.
interpret and understand what it
Yeah.
really means to try to get out of his grasp. Um
And that was
and
the
like
next that was the next thing me and my friend, the conversation we had at that was like we kind of like some people it's okay to have a freedom of speech, but some people don't know when it's not okay to have freedom of speech because it's like we don't even
yeah,
know everything. And then for two, you only know one side of a story, and that's the
right,
story that you're putting out there. So and
right,
like when Kanye said the ignorant thing, like the next thing we talked about was Kanye, and we was like Kanye was like saying black people should have just ran away during slavery, and it's like, bro, do you not know what they was going through? They couldn't just run away during slavery. So it's like people have these platforms and they say they don't know that they're saying something ignorant because they don't know the full truth of it, but they just are saying ignorant stuff. And
yeah. And then and yeah, and that, but like I said, I think, and then even when that comment came out, for me, I'm looking at it like, okay, the comment in on the surface is going to offend and bother a whole lot of people,
mhm,
without a doubt, right? And the reality of it is, yes, they were, hands and feet were tied, options were limited. There's a
mhm,
reason why. I would say there's two reasons. There's a reason why we know Harriet. We know um, the few that have led revolts, Nat Turner, but there's many more that tried. We just don't know their names.
mhm,
And then two, there is the math that goes along with that, as especially for our generation and the blessed opportunities that are afforded to us based on the sacrifices made by many before us.
mhm,
The ratio of slave to master on any given plantation had to be 200 to 10, 200 to 20. And so the numbers don't support the reality that they could have just fought and ran away and everything would have been fine. But it does support, and I think will always echo the beauty and the power of our unison, um, because we'll always be in a fight. And the
mhm,
more togetherness and um, shared thought and community that we can showcase will always better um, put us in a better position to be able to do fight and defend more, right? So like
Mhm.
there's like a large ignorance to what he said and the triteness of it, but then I don't know. I just there's a deeper reality where it's like maybe like the black as we talk about spending money on shoes and shit, the
Mhm.
black community spends more than any community ever, right? And so it's like with that, and I think even J.R. Smith talked about like all the money he spent at the strip club that he could have been investing in communities and doing this, that, and the third. Like
Mhm.
there's always going to be a time where we focus on the amount of us that are any given time, and not talking about like, okay, you know what? There's not that many black millionaires, but for the amount of black millionaires there are, that 200 to 12, can we come together and win? Is there a way to
Mhm.
win, or can we think about that more? It's easy to just be like, man, ain't enough black millionaires. You're right, right, and then it's easy to say like, them niggas could have never ran away, and you're right, true, but just on the the slight chance of just focusing on the community aspect of it, is there a reality where, despite how daunting things can be, can we get more done together? And I hope I ain't talked to Kanye. I hope that could have been a part, maybe, of what he
Mhm.
was getting across in the worst way imaginable, right?
Mhm.
And that's why I'd be like, it's so much beauty in just like studying so many different things and so many different angles and so many different perspectives,
Mhm.
um, to keep it balanced to a certain extent.
And then
Um, but
we're social creatures
yeah,
too. So
yeah, 100%. So I love Kyrie, man. I love what he's doing with Luca. Um, he has a lot of women on his team producing this shoe, and so I like that too. There's a lot of
mhm.
they do like a behind the scenes and like some of the creative direction and material sourcing and stuff like that. There's a lot of women involved in that, so I
Didn't
think
know
that's
that.
really dope. Yeah,
Fire,
we talked about this. Unbelievable.
fire.
I just the shape, the details, the simplicity but futuristic pockets of it. I didn't snag an image of the low top, but it's nuts. Like shout out to Adidas for this, and you mentioned,
Them shits is
um,
hard. I don't care what nobody say.
and this probably ain't even the best colorway to even show all the detail that exists, but this is crazy, and I think his rollout sucked too. I don't feel like they were available for purchase till like 2 months ago.
Yeah, I didn't know you could purchase them. To be honest,
Yeah, and so
the only reason
I
I saw
think
them was because of tweet.
yeah, because it got to a point where everybody's talking about like, nah, these is hard, and I think the ones before this was hard too. The sevens were really cool,
Mhm.
really unique. So yeah, shout out to Adidas. Um, I got Austin Reeves in here just because
Oh,
these kind of fire to me too.
did you see the
And
first ones that was like green, blue? It looked like a
yeah,
Nerf. Dope. I
yeah.
wanted them shit, but how do you? I don't. I gotta start.
I have no idea how to get his. I don't know how to get Kyrie's. I don't know how to get, D'Angelo Russell. I think it's the front man for Dwayne Wade's leading. I don't know how to get those when I see a dope colorway. But I mean, I'm glad that so many guys are taking advantage of the opportunity to be able to have a signature shoe, whether it's with the line that we know or we don't know, and just kind of adding a lot of variety
Mhm.
to the sneaker market. One shoe that I put in here that deserves all the praise in the world, even though it's coming from um, a market that hasn't been fully tapped into yet, um, is Sabrina,
Oh, mm,
right? For the New York Liberty. Her signature shoe is nuts to me. Um,
the first ones was hard.
arguably, yeah, arguably the best low top sneaker since Kobe. I think this one here is in honor of his Bruce Lee colorways. And so um,
Shout out to Caitlin
shout out to
Clark.
her. Yeah, Caitlin Clark just got another one. Obviously, we hope Audra Wilson is able to secure herself a signature shoe as well.
Well, no, because
Um,
Caitlin Clark was killing it in them Kobe, them Bruce Lee's.
yeah, oh yeah, she was because she was wearing those throughout the
Oh,
tournament. Yeah, yeah, 100%. So yeah, that's kind of just where I was at, man. The signature sneaker market is nuts right now. Really, really glad that it's kind of back, at least close to what we've seen. And then so many people wearing runners now, which I think is probably just reflective of our age and the fact that we're not like playing sports, I guess, anymore. Whatever, everybody's in the comfort, ASIC, New Balance style. I know I bought more New Balances this year than I ever have.
I gotta
Um,
tap in. I used to be on it heavy, and then started making decent money, and I've been on a Jordan wave.
Man, I only get classic Jordans now.
Mhm.
Um, but the New Balance, yeah, I've been on it. The protection packs, Joe Freshgood. Shout out to that nigga Joe Freshgood. I feel like everything he fucking touches is
I
fucking fuego. It's
this as
insane.
well.
Um, and I think a lot of shoes are collaborations. Too much collaboration, not enough collaboration. Do you like the collaborations? Do you think
I've
Nike and them should get back to homegrown products?
I've kind of slowed down, honestly. Like I've only bought 4 pairs of shoes this year. But I feel like Nike needs that Virgil,
Yeah,
or they need they need that one person that's bringing what they do to the table and bringing it to any Nike shoe they want. Because I mean, Travis Scott's don't come out that often. His shit is on a
hmm
downfall. Like I like those. What are those? The flight trainers that the Jordan flight trainers that just came out, or Cactus Jack
yeah,
Jordan. I like
yeah,
those, but honestly, they just don't have that person that's touching shoes like Virgil was. I mean, it's gonna be hard
yeah,
to duplicate what he did, but it's just like I fuck with the reimagines though. Like I have the
yeah,
threes, I have the fours, I have the ones,
yeah.
and I have I always pronounce it wrong. How you pronounce it? The Amar, whatever it is.
I'm mom and yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
why can't I pronounce that shit? But yeah, I have
I,
both the Jordan 5s. I have the white ones, the black ones. I wear the black ones like crazy because you put in
oh man, that
them
was one of my
alternate
favorite
laces.
shoes. That's one of
But I
my favorite shoes that I've caught in my life.
mm,
Just because the details, the textures, the colors, and I think because at one point I feel like 5, 6 years ago it's like, oh, if you buy all the collaborations, you're a hype beast. That's one thing. I think what I like about it now is growing up with like DJ Clark Kent, and like he
mhm,
would ship out the friends and family exclusive, the friends and family pack, and the colors that would be attached with that, the details that would be attached to that, the purchase, the packaging that would be
mhm.
associated with that. I'm like, man, when
That's
I
the
spend
thing.
my money, that's what I want. I want the
Mhm,
colorway. I want the texture. I want the box
mhm.
that actually gives a shit. Because sometimes even Jordan and Nike's best general releases still come in the standard box. No, when I
Yeah, and it's
buy this, I want that. And I think that's where the collaborations stand for me now. It gives me an opportunity to feel like I'm actually purchasing something that's
especially when that was
it's
crafted from
special.
everything.
Yeah.
Because even the
It's
11s, they don't come in the pull-out box no more. It's just a flip. I'm like, bro, I
it's
don't
just
even
a
want
flip
this shit
box.
no more.
I don't want this shit anymore. Right? Where is the plastic overlay with the
Yeah.
tissue paper, slide
Mm.
out? Like where is all of that? They
No
they
Jordan
they take
card.
that away. No Jordan card anymore. Like all of those details that kind of made waiting in line worth it. So like the Alma Meniere, the box with the texture, the repeated A all over, which is the same thing that's in the inner lining or the sock liner. Is that what they called it?
Probably so. Because it has like
Yeah.
and then the mesh is like the mesh on the side of the Jordan 5 is aged. They got the A's on the inside of the sock line, the inside the like the tongue and stuff like that. And the 3M on the tongue. One
Oh
got
man.
the Jordan side, and the inside has the signature of the brand, and on the other one it has the Jordan tag upside down. It's just like there's so many intricate small things, and like the box is covered in plastic little A's, where it's like the box is actually suede, but those A's is a plastic on it, like a plastic. I don't. It's like embezzled or embossed. I don't know the exact term for it, but
Right,
it's just
right.
like you said, like you get so much value because like you go through a process, you looking at the box like dang, the box like dang, the crazy details. You open it up, you looking at the tissue paper like, oh, they still got stuff on here. Then you actually get to the shoe, and with that shoe you get three different laces. You get the black that
Come on
comes
now.
with it, you get the white,
Come on now.
and you get the off white, and you put that off white in there, and it just pops on the shoe like the all black suede, and you got some cream. laces that just pop out, and everybody just like when you walk in a room with them shoes, everybody looking at your feet like, "Hey, my shit hard."
Them shits is tough. I think I lost you on
Hmm.
the video. I
Yeah.
know it's
It,
catching up now, but I can't. So yeah, the I'm and you're crazy. The Joe Fresh good. I got the pair that just dropped. They're brown and pink. The silver box with the spray paint on the top lid, crazy. The belly inspired joints. I got those black and white, crazy. And so like I said, just the packaging and the whole feel is like this is what I want to spend my money on. Um, and Joe, with Virgil gone, I think Joe somewhere between Joe, maybe Teddy Santis,
Mhm.
some of the best storytellers in sneakers,
Mhm.
right now. Um, so yeah, it's there's a lot to unpack. Hopefully, like I said, once you get where you're going, I hope next time we catch up, you bought a whole lot more.
Mhm.
Because it's
But
a whole lot up there.
and then I also did upgrade my collection. So I mean, we talked
Okay.
about it beforehand, but I bought my first
Yeah.
pair of Louis trainers. And man,
Ooh.
I've always wanted a pair
Ooh.
of them, and I finally got a pair, and now it's like a itch that I gotta scratch again, bro.
Ooh.
Like, like, like when you say you care about the packaging, you gonna really fuck with the packaging for because you get the box, it's a nice box, and then you also get bags for both shoes. And then when
Yeah.
you get the shoe, the detail on them is crazy. And like I have the white, they're white, black, and they got denim on them, and the denim has the Louis logo,
Ooh.
and it's just like, and when you
Ooh.
wear them, you think people look at your shoes when you wear those fives. When you wear them Louis out, people like, oh shit, you really
Yeah.
about this. So it's
Yeah.
just
Because they got that classic one. I like the runner that they have. It looks kind of like a
that's the one yep. It's the one that looked
yeah.
like a Jordan 3.
Yeah. So that I love that one. And then they got one that's like in the New Balance ballpark too. I was in there
Mm,
Valentine's Day shopping. I was like, yeah, I fuck with these. The only designer show I have is I got the Salehi Benberry Versace joints. I
mm.
don't know when or if I'm ever gonna wear them. They're a little. I love them design wise and aesthetic
Mm.
wise, but they're a little audacious for me. Like they're big. So it's
I
like,
thought I would
But
never wear them
I
Louis.
thought I'd never venture into it, but you know,
Yeah.
can't hide
Yeah.
money, and I'm not trying to. So,
And then, like we said, we work hard, so because we collect expensive stuff, and we
yeah,
like spending. So yeah,
yeah,
I'm
no,
definitely
100%. 100%. Well, listen, I'm gonna say, like I said, Coop's not here. The one thing that Coop's been doing that I'm gonna do, hopefully, when he sees this is like it's sufficient for what he normally does. Is he's got this segment where it's kind of like a this or that, right? And
hmm
so a couple things that pop up on the screen. You have the opportunity to kind of make a selection, and all chosen at random, but still kind of attached to the individual that's having to answer the question. So we're gonna get into that. Obviously, here we got Isle of Palms versus Folly Beach.
Dang,
Which
that's
one is
tough.
better in your opinion?
I'm gonna have to go with Folly because they have the bar right there. I
Yeah,
mean, Isle of
yeah.
Palms now has Windbreaker, but they don't play music that I'm into, so I'm gonna have to go with pass on Isle of Palms. I'm gonna go with Folly.
Pass on Isle of Palms. I
Yeah,
mean, we had some good times at both, but I think Folly Beach might be a little bit more
I, s- we
enjoyable.
had, I don't know if he was there when stuff went down on Folly, but it was one crazy night in the dorms. I'm not gonna put that out there, but it was some crazy stuff happened on.
Might have to get on that one
Uh,
offline. Um, the
I can't go.
Carolinas as a whole, right? Because Charleston just
Mhm,
had the River Dogs and they got the
mhm.
Gamecocks, but I feel like as it relates to sports, I feel like you could, everybody has to either root for the Panthers or root for the Hornets.
I'm rooting for
Um,
the Hornets.
you're rooting for the Hornets.
Yeah, because my NFL team the Vikings, so I mean I can't pull for the Panthers.
Ooh. So
Yeah,
this is a
yeah.
two-part. I started asking people in Chicago, like, what matters more, the Bears or the Bulls? And a lot of people pick the Bears. Like they feel like Jordan had his era, but
Mm-hmm.
the staple team of the city is the Bears. I was like, okay, I never really
Ooh,
thought about that.
damn.
So which one do you think means more to the Carolinas culturally, I guess, even
Panthers.
though
They
you're a
actually have a
Vikings
Super Bowl.
fan?
They actually have a Super Bowl win with Jake
Okay.
Delhomme and Steve Smith.
Okay. Got you. So then then that's it. Then the Panthers mean more. Um, being in South Carolina, Charleston, shrimp and grits, pimento cheese, two things that I feel like are signature to the city. I haven't had better shrimp and grits than I've had in Charleston, and I didn't even know what pimento cheese was until I got there, honestly. Which dish or offering matters more?
If we was on Drink Champs, I would have to take a shot.
Oh, damn. It's
Yo,
like
that's
that.
tough. But I'm gonna have to go with shrimp and grits on this.
Shrimp and grits.
Yeah, that's fire,
Yeah.
especially if the gravy is nice. Put some hot
Where it's
sauce
supposed to
on
be.
there.
Yeah.
Woo!
A heater. A heater. Okay. Okay. That was a tough one then. Uh, you talk about cultural relevance and impact. I think I know the answer to this one. Which of these brands' classic offering is the best?
Air Force One #1, Adidas Shell Toes #2, and I don't know why Reebok is on it. I wouldn't. I
Oh,
you, my grandma did not put me in them Reebok classes.
what?
Yes, I can't hold you. I can't.
Okay. Forces is the winner though. Obvious winner
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Okay. Well, I had some Reeboks.
Tight.
Um, big, big conversation. I think Kendrick
Mm,
dropped another song today.
he did.
616 in LA. So, you know, one, I think, well, first and foremost, we don't know these niggas. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what's going on, right? I know Future's recruited the Avengers. I know
Mm-hmm.
that makes Drake look like he's in the right? He's ganging up on the nigga. I know that I hate that J. Cole entered the fight just on some playful shit and then bowed out. I thought the song was great. And I'm here for competitive rapping. You know what I'm saying? I don't care to know the politics. I think it's very interesting for any man to just be like, oh yeah, let me find a woman and they talk on Instagram. I don't care about that shit. I'm here for the music. I like high charged, like real rap shit. And so I feel
Mm-hmm.
like whatever this is between the three of them on a personal level, we're getting some phenomenal they coming
Yeah,
with it. So
I'm
I
a
think I'm
I'm a
team
have.
Kendrick.
I'm the opposite on you. I'm team Drake. I feel like from what I know from the beef, and if you listen to the interlude on nothing was this was that nothing? No, not Marvin June. What album was that? Shit, I'm supposed to be a
Take
Drake fan.
care.
Take care. Kendrick talked about how he was different from Drake. Drake was doing it for the fame. Kendrick wasn't about it. Kendrick hated that they was the same age. Drake had more success. That's where his, that's where he's getting the fuel from.
Okay.
And me personally, I know people gonna hear this and they're gonna take it wrong because they're probably diehard Kendrick fans. But
Yeah.
I honestly can't say I go back and listen to Kendrick's album. The only album I'll go back and be like, oh, I gotta listen to is Good Kid, Mad City. And I feel like what Drake said was accurate. Kendrick is he comes. It's the it's a how did they explain it? It's I want to be heard right now and let me shock the world and then go disappear again. So it's just like
Got you. Got
and
you.
Drake
We're
Drake
just
was like
always being there.
Drake was like tell name a verse off the Control verse. He's like you can't. It's not timeless. It's like it came and it went. And I feel like that's how his albums go. They came, they're great, and it's gone again until he pops up again. So I don't know.
Yeah, the only ones that have long stay for me is Good Kid, Mad City, and Damn. Those are the only two that
Yeah.
I revisit.
Mhm.
The rest of them are good, incredible concepts, incredible offerings when they come. But like I haven't listened to his last album since it dropped, and I
Yeah.
can't say that I miss it. I do think, I just think there's power in the way Kendrick raps. I think his delivery is cool, and I think Drake should stay out of battle rapping altogether. Right? Like I just don't think it's his thing, and that's okay. I just, you know,
He's clever
You
and
know, I just
witty,
think he
but
is. He's
he
incredibly
can't
clever and witty.
he can't take it. He takes
Yeah,
everything
but
to a
that's not what
personal.
people listen for, right? Like people
Yeah.
always talk about, well, everybody want to hear that conscious rap. So I think he wins the battle for the people who care to do the research. But I think he loses the battle for the casual people who don't like listening to all that, don't like digging that deep anyway. And Kendrick and Pusha T have a more like in your face, like I'm saying this to get you type of attitude,
Yep.
not
Hmm.
5 months later when something that he teased that was a rumor actually becomes truth. Oh shit, Drake's a genius. Like I don't, people aren't really built to listen to stuff like that. So I mean, it'll be interesting. I hope it ends soon. I mean, I did love Kendrick's song, but I hope it ends soon.
And I saw a tweet that was saying that he was supposed that Drake and J. Cole wanted him on Last Person Shooter, and that's what a beef flamed up because
uh,
Kendrick didn't want to do it or something happened. But
he should have did it.
I think they low key scheming something up. Like they
Probably.
do. And I think his rap is not really actual beef.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably. And hopefully it's just good music. You
Oh,
talked about not ever being in Reebok. So, you know, switching gears, which one of these brands played a bigger part in your upbringing?
since my family's from New York, I'm gonna go with Sean John.
Okay.
I
I'm gonna go Sean John too. I ain't
we
wear a lot of
actually
FUBU.
yeah, no Diddy. I mean, I wouldn't wear it now with the stuff he going on, but on some maybe on some vintage stuff because I've seen my friends actually do it when thrifting became a thing. I've seen
Okay.
them wear FUBU, but I couldn't say I would go back and buy some Sean John stuff. But dang, there's some other brands that go hand in hand with this because you got Echo,
You got Echo, you got Pelly Pelly.
hmm
Um,
you got
I didn't really wear
the
FUBU.
me either. I had an Echo shirt. I had some Sean John stuff.
Yeah.
Birdman had his shoes out during the time. G Unit, 50 Cent had their shoes
Yeah.
out during that time, and Jay Z had the S. Dot Carters.
Yeah, yeah, and then Rockaware as a whole was still something that
Mhm.
people was tapping into. So it was a lot of different brands out there, and I think that's what makes it so interesting too. The conversation about I don't want to, you know, I don't know how I don't want to sound like a whatever, but like growing up, I feel like our life was rich with black shit in it, but then the
Yes,
conversation is always that it's never enough, and and there isn't right. Like, there's never enough. It's never enough black movies, never enough black TV shows. But I guess what's interesting about growing up, it just felt like it felt like there was just it just wasn't a conversation. Like it was so much emphasis on like, did you watch One on One? Did you watch
mhm,
Girlfriends? Did you wear Sean John? And not like, why isn't there more than one on one? And I don't know if
mhm,
that made for a more peaceful upbringing because we just kind of enjoy what was my wife and kids. The conversation
mhm.
wasn't why isn't there 10 my wife and kids? It was just, did you watch my wife and kids last night? That shit was funny. And so it's interesting because our life was rich. I feel like with a lot of black experiences and black references in the movies, like two can play that game and stuff like that. I'm not saying that there's enough of them. I just somewhere in that pocket there was, I don't know, contentment or something where we were able to enjoy what was, and like
It's because
now
we
I feel like it's not enough, but it's also not what is offered. Also, isn't quality to me. It's not funny. It's not enjoyable. So it's weird.
I think and now it's because we was forced to sit down and watch those things. Not as in like you that's what was on and it was so little of it, so you had to enjoy it. And then plus now
Yeah,
it's so many different avenues and so many ways that you can get stuff. So you have like YouTube, you have Netflix. It's just too many stuff to like actually just enjoy something for what it is.
yeah,
To where
100%.
because it's so many and then information and stuff is being passed so fast. It's like with music,
Yeah,
like we get new music every Friday. So
yeah. It's too
it's like
much. It's too
yeah,
much.
how like when you got an album back then, you played that shit like over
Yeah,
and over, top to bottom to where it just started skipping. You had too many scratches on it. Like you
yeah,
couldn't listen to it anymore. Now it's just like, all right, next week my attention
yeah,
span is off this album. It's on
yeah.
to the next thing. So I can't remember.
Yeah,
Well, I know an album right now I've been constantly listening to. It's not like some traditional rap or anything, but it's more that person put thought, like the melodies is more harmonizing and stuff like that, where it's just like, all right, this is really grabbing my attention. I can really have a positive mood through this the whole time, and it would still
The only
relate.
nigga I listen to is Larry. Larry June is my nigga right now. Those are the albums that I'm listening to front to back over and over for that same reason. The sound, the lyrics, the energy is motivating. It's he's still fucking bitches and buying cars, but it's a depth way far away from that. That's really enjoyable. And he's still talking about the important things like, you know, having a nice vacuum cleaner and taking care of your son and just different things that he raps about that I feel like is super dope. You
Something
know what I'm
different,
saying?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Sock it to me. So we're gonna keep going. We're almost done. Back on the cultural relevance tip.
Cam
You know,
Newton.
which Cam,
Yeah. I don't even know who bro is, to be honest.
Gerald
That
Wallace?
mu- yeah.
Oh, that's
That's
crazy.
probably that's probably embarrassing to say, but I know
He was
more
a
of him.
dog.
He probably
He
was
was a
nice on the
dog.
court, but I do
Yeah,
not
he was a
remember.
dog. Wow. Yeah, I think that one of the few times that the Bobcats even made it to the playoffs, it was off the strength of him. He was a Jordan Brand athlete, double sleeve, was kind of, kind of swaggy for him back then. Yeah, he was really good. We touched on this earlier just a little bit, but um,
Hey, bro, I
who's doing better, you think? And
Ronnie.
it sucks because Ronnie's been doing it for longer and his collab history is a little richer. Um,
It's
do you think
just
Amon Manure has that potential or
I haven't tapped into their clothes. I've tapped into their sneakers, but I know Ronnie's story and it hits home. And then the things that he does with taking his brand, collabing it with another brand is not on let's just put something out. It goes into like the fabrics, like what he's doing is just like when I wanted my brand to be a thing, that's what I wanted to do because it's it's week after week, it's something new, and it's just like you can tell. Like I wish I could sit in that room and
man?
see what he tells his creative team and how they just attack it because it's like I was just texting my I would say my best friend or the closest homie I got. And we talk about stuff like this because we both are entrepreneurs and that's who I like about iron sharpens iron. But we were just talking about how he's like he has to be years ahead to the point where right if we look at what he's making right now, it has to be for like 2027, the
Yeah,
way they're dropping.
yeah.
And is it him coming with the idea and then throwing it to them, and then they bring him a product back, and then he critique it, and it's final after they put the final touches in it, or do the people that's at the table bringing the ideas, or is it both? Because it's like
Yeah, gotta be a little bit of both. It's gotta be a little bit of both. And I think the last interview I watched of his, just listening to how he really is chasing nostalgia. Like when you talk about the fabric, a lot of the shit that comes from Kith is interwoven experiences, memories, and pockets of Ronnie's life and Ronnie's existence, right? And I
and
think the
if you
ability to be able to, yeah, his ability to chase nostalgia and like give that to people is nuts, right? Like even the watch collab that he just dropped, that's he has pictures. Like that was like one of the first watches he'd ever owned as a person, as a human being. So it's just like to be able to take that picture and then turn it into this, and it's gonna sell because of the storytelling and the colorways and the passion that goes into the product and the consistency of that offering. And that's what it is. Like a lot of his collaborations, they're not faint hearted. It's like I love BMW, right? Like he loves it. And that's where the opportunity for Kith, a clothing store, to release their own BMW car comes from. And there ain't a whole lot of clothing stores that's doing shit like that, you know?
probably only two.
Um,
If you think about it, with Virgil and then Supreme.
yeah,
And then if
yeah.
you look at that Tokyo store,
Can't wait to go.
if you
Can't wait.
when he released
Can't
the
wait.
pictures of that, and then he got a store in Hawaii,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it's just like that's just if you like
It's
have a love
incredible.
for clothes and stuff like that, that's the person you want to be. Or
Yeah.
you like if we talk about it from like a basketball sense, when Kobe was like, I'm mocking everything Jordan, like That's the person you want to emulate.
Yeah,
He
100%.
he got the 6 rings. He did the 2 back-to-backs, three
Yeah,
three peats back.
yeah, 100%. And I think James Whitner's on his way. Um, Obviously, like I said, he's a little younger in his process, and but I listened to his interviews, and I did a paper on Armand and I watched his. I listen and read to see some of the things that he's talking about. And I think he's on his way. And I think the one thing that I stole from him that I even tell my team is, uh, as it relates to chasing perfection and quality and pursuit of good product and good output, understand that the numbers are um, a like a lag indicator and not a lead indicator, right? The numbers tell the story of what you did, right? Not so much how you did it. And so put the emphasis on doing things the right way. Because if that's the case, it should sell and people should like it and it should be well received, right? And then let the numbers that are told from chasing that be the numbers that you hold on to. Versus like going into a situation like, in my world, it's like, oh, we got to make this budget. How are we going to make this budget? Let's cut all these corners. You know what I mean? For what? Right. But if we on the opposite side, it's okay, hey, this is the budget. We're going to do our best to protect and defend it, but we're absolutely not going to shortchange. It's doing things the right way. And however the number shakes out afterwards, that's the number that we'll be proud of, right? Because it should tell the story of what it was that we did and how we went about it, and um, putting that at the forefront of your operation. Like he has little nuggets out there too that I think are really dope. This is the last one.
I haven't. Oh shit, I'm not tapped in like I should be. Like Power, I stopped watching after Ghost died. It was just got too repetitive, and,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it was like constantly them doing the impossible to get out of a situation. I know it's a TV show, but I still look at things as like, how is this realistic? It's
yeah,
hard because you know that it's like it's impossible, and it was like it's always nobody wants to fall in line with Ghost. They always competing with him because he's going to get you out of the situation. And it's like, bro, he's
yeah.
saving y'all time
Every
after
time.
time.
Yeah, every time. And
But y'all
it's
hate it. Y'all hate it, but y'all love it at the same time. Like y'all want to be included in the plan, but you can't keep the plan together because you gonna fuck it up for everybody.
yeah,
So I
100%.
haven't watched The Wire yet. So
The Wire is good. I think The Wire, obviously, to me, is like the grandfather of all of these efforts. Like you needed The Wire to kind of make that depth of storytelling possible. It's really good, and I think like you haven't seen it. I've watched it twice through now, and I think it's still relevant. I still think it holds weight. And so it's definitely worth the check out. And there's a lot of people on there, Idris Elba, Michael B. Jordan, a lot of people, the guy that
yeah,
just passed, unfortunately, with the fentanyl, with the scar on his face. It's a lot of people that came through The Wire that went on to have really good careers.
he passed.
Yeah, what's his name? Let me see.
I thought I could have sworn that he was at the
He had a
Celtics game.
movie. He does have a movie that just came out like last year, like kind of prometheusly. But
Wait, you talking about the
um,
one down his face, like right here, or the one that had one like on the side?
let me see. Michael K. Williams. Michael K. Williams is his name, and yeah, he had the scar that literally just came right down his face.
Okay, I think that's.
Yeah. So
Damn, that's crazy. He played in a lot of roles.
he did. Yeah, he did. A lot of. He was a good support member of a lot of good films. So yeah, it sucked. That fentanyl. Got to stay away from drugs, people. It's taking a lot of people out. But listen, man, it's been a pleasure. It's been a real pleasure.
Is
Um, I I think having you back on to see this is a way better product. I feel like
every
for people
single
to be
time
able to
I
kind of
enjoy these conversations that like it
yeah.
make me like wish I could be here every single time and we just chop it up about everything. And my last
Yeah,
thought is like next time we do one, it's gotta be like an in-person one. Like on some
yeah,
like how like at some if it was possible to do it at like some store or something. That'd be so dope
Yeah.
just to see that progression.
Yeah. That's the goal. We got 2 in-person thoughts lined up right now. Me and Coop really kind of run this whole thing, and like I said, at the point where we're trying to take it to like where it's like a legitimate business and it has a real presence and there's real consistency. And so one of the things we talked about was like on some Gillian Wallow shit, like we got to pull up to, some people got to pull up to their house, kick it in their
Hmm.
basement, or like you said, go to a store. So we got 2 of those on the way. We can definitely add a third one, and then um just keep building it
Keep
out to where
going.
it's a better experience. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm
um
happy to be a part of this.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Because I mean, another trip to New York or a trip to Miami. Miami got 2 kips and something
Mhm.
slight, and we can. The biggest thing is like we got to hire somebody to do the filming and the editing, and then we just focus on just the episode and stuff like that. I think will help grow obviously the YouTube. Well, it'll help grow the YouTube for sure, right? Because like this will go to YouTube. People can watch it this way. Everybody can still hear it. Apple, whatever. But yeah, we definitely trying to getting out of the getting out of the season obsession, like 10 episode, 15 episode, whatever. But like definitely as a part of this spread, we're trying to do some more in-person live footage joints. Because it'll be a lot doper and a different experience for everybody for sure. Because I'll tell them like for this, I don't want to call it a season, but this effort, it's got to be on some reasonable doubt shit. Is
Yeah.
my goal, or like I think Mike Delete later. I think Killer Mike's last album, like just something. Every time we talk about each episode we record, I'm like, it's got to be a fucking banger every single
Yeah.
time. And like, even if it's, our growth and our fans and we appreciate everybody. Like we got 15 subscribers on YouTube, which is more than 0.
Mhm.
7 reviews, 8 reviews, more than 0. So for everybody who's still here, appreciative of that. But I want this to be the turning point in what we're doing. And I want when people backtrack and be like, no, this shit, it really started here. Like the old shit's still available with the for y'all to understand more of us and what it is that we were trying to do, it really starts here. So,
Mhm.
and I think Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt, no matter how many years pass, it's like, I still don't know. One, his first album is better than a lot of niggas' 5th album to this day. And if you appreciate Hov, there's Reasonable Doubt. I mean, unbelievable replay value, right? Like it's a stronghold into like why he's here. And so that's what this effort is meant to be. So we are eternally grateful to have you be a part of it, and definitely, yeah, like I said, you're a friend of the show, so you're always welcome.
It's a blessing to be here, and it's always genuine, great vibes and great open
Yeah,
conversation. The dialect is
yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, listen, I'm gonna get up off of here, man. Go check in on Kyrie, see if they can close this thing out, brother. And then we'll catch up with you. Like I said, next time it'll definitely be in person. Pick a city and just pull up.
yes, sir.
Nah, that's a bet, brother. Peace.
Fallout. Some of y'all you, some real run shit the way that you move. Little like king gon' die, one slip up, know they gon' slide one. Ride to die, my flesh, my blood. Rambo am, I'ma ride for my hood. You gotta feel me, but king me. You see your mind disappearing. Make a move, but you end up missing. Listen, some of y'all you, some real run shit the way that you move. Little like king gon' die, one slip up, know they gon' slide one. Ride to die, my flesh, my blood. Rambo am, I'ma ride for my hood. You gotta feel me, but king me. You see your mind disappearing. Make a move, but you end up missing. Listen.